So everybody, welcome Dan, Sam, Jennifer back up on stage. You guys feeling good? Yeah? Are they muted? Say something, one of you. Hello? Can you guys hear us?
We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Now we can hear you too. Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you. A lot of really good comments on your guys' talks. How do you feel it went?
Pretty good.
I could see people sleeping from where I was, Aaron.
Oh,
but
cool.
Other than that, I thought it went great.
Yeah. No, you saw the people snoring. That's good. No, that's good. It's reassuring when everyone snores for you. That's good. All right. No, I saw a lot of really good comments in the chat, so thank you. All right. We're going to go through some questions. All three of you gave really informative talks. You taught a lot of really technical lessons, so I'm going to just go from the most highest voted questions down. So if you see a question you want it, upvote it. And if I don't get down to the ones with 0 votes, I apologize. Yesterday there was some confusion. Some people thought that I was not picking their questions on purpose, and I'm just the ones with the votes. Gotta get the votes on them. So yeah. All right. Let's go to the top. It's weird. Dan, what's your favorite color?
Yeah. I don't know. So Aaron, did any of the because you guys had to submit some of the what do they call them? The poll questions. Did any of those make it into the talks? Do you know?
No, none of the polls. Maybe some of them did. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I created one specifically for my buddy John Papa because I wear blue a lot.
Yeah.
That was, what shirt should Dan wear next ng-conf? Blue, or I think I had light blue as an option.
Yeah.
But anyway, I tend to like blue, folks. Blue's a good color.
You're kind of like the host of Survivor, Jeff Probst. He just wears blue all the time. So
that's why I'm digging Jennifer's background there because it's got a lot of bluish and tints and stuff. It's awesome.
She's at the aquarium.
I'm just gonna pretend you're excited about my awesome catches because I'm so good at Animal Crossing.
Okay. All right. The community can be silly. That's got twice as many votes as any other question. So thank you, Dan, for indulging. Jennifer, you're the top question.
Hot damn.
When is it better to use control container versus passing the parent's form group into the component as an input?
I'm lazy, and so I like staying away from using the import and the output. So that's my very, very short answer. Yeah.
No, I think I'm with you. I've done both. Yeah. I feel like the control container is the more robust, proper solution, though, right?
Yeah, and I feel like it just lends to more readable code. And honestly, so the control value accessor talk I did last year, that was the exact same path that led me down to discovering that. Is because I was like, all right, I need to emit a certain value, but I feel like I'm just getting bogged down with these inputs and these outputs. And if somebody coming in my code doesn't read or doesn't understand what's going on, it's really, really just clustery. And so that's why I like using, classes and interfaces provided by Angular to kind of make things.
Yeah, I agree. Sam, I've seen a lot of people ask you this question. What technology did you use to make your slides and the movement and stuff?
So all of that is Keynote. So Mike, Ryan, and Kim Maida and I are the Keynote posse, and we have nerded out on animations and
Keynote posse. I like it.
The KP?
Keynote posse. So all of it's
tattoos.
Keynote. It's all Keynote. Yeah, we're getting tattoos.
Oh, nice.
Well, Kim already has a bunch of tattoos, so she's already on it. So.
Tell her to save the spot. Save a spot for the Keynote posse. All right. Dan, the poll for your shirt is live, though. So, yeah, if anyone wants to get in on this poll, there's a poll in the video.
Is it blue, light blue?
What are the options?
I did light blue today. I decided to go a little off the beaten path.
Blue is beating blue, but now blue is taking back over its spot. So it's between blue and blue at this point.
I appreciate your input there.
And then way in last place is blue. So we don't know really how it's going to end up.
Azul is really starting to take off. So
there you go.
No, I don't want to.
Oh, now if I was as clever as Sam, I would have put that as one of the options.
Yeah.
Azul, but
Azul.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, maybe Azul wins at that point. All right, Jennifer. How many nesting levels does control container support?
So I actually saw that question in the chat, and I don't know off the top of my head, but now like my interest is piqued. So expect a blog post from me coming soon.
Yeah, and if you don't follow Jennifer on Twitter, go follow her. I never can remember off my top of my head. She owns Jennifer Wadella, but doesn't use it. She tweets under like
OMG, it's fee day.
It's fee day. Anyway, good luck finding her.
Yeah. So my handle is a throwback to my professional gaming days. So.
Yeah. All right, Jennifer, Sam, where is the best practice to store access and refresh tokens? In memory, like state, local storage, cookie? Depends.
So refresh tokens you don't ever want in the browser. They're long lasting and they're really sensitive. So don't ever use refresh tokens in the browser. Access tokens you want to store in memory. It used to be local storage was sort of the default for that, but local storage is vulnerable to cross-site scripting attacks. So if you have an access token, you want to just store it in memory and then let your identity provider check if their session, usually the identity provider will have a way to check session, and then send back a new access token like when the app loads or something.
All right, thank you. Yeah, that refresh token. That's a keeper. It's like an IOU for a Lamborghini. You're gonna want to keep that one. Don't give that out in the browser, right? Like,
right.
You basically are giving away hijack access at that point. So
right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dan.
Blue.
Okay. Yep. All right. Next question. Okay. So if you already have ngrx, would it still make sense to use Observable Store in conjunction? And if so, how would you decide when Observable Store should be used over ngrx? And such a nebulous question. So how would you decide it?
Well, first off, if you're already using ngrx or ngxs or Akita or any of the options out there, if it's working for you, I don't see any reason to change, to be honest. If you're struggling, it might be worthwhile to do, like I said at the end, prototype and just play with it a little bit. No, I'm not a big fan of mixing and matching. I'm a big fan of consistency. And I think if you start mixing and matching different state management solutions, you're just in for a world of hurt down the road.
Yeah.
So I would keep it as consistent as possible if I were you.
So as we're out there, like, let's say I'm on another solution. Like I'm not going to pick on ngrx like the question. I'm just going to say, let's say you're on another solution besides Observable Store. What's a symptom I could look for? That's like, well, maybe try a prototype with Observable Store.
Yeah. I don't know that it's so much because all of them are just a store with immutable state. So they're all going to give you those benefits. Now, in my opinion, ngrx is by far the most robust, most powerful. I think the symptom more, and the reason it came about is we were working with a team, a company, a big company. They're a shipping company, so I'm guessing they're busy right now. But anyway, they did a ton of new hires. And most of these new hires were straight out of school. They had some experience, but not a lot. And most of them were pretty new to Angular because I went in and we did many training sessions and stuff like that with them. And one of the things we kind of started hearing is, hey, I'm copying and pasting code for different aspects of like Redux type stuff, but I don't know what's going on. Like I'm just copy and pasting and tweaking. And I've heard that as well there's a big credit card company we work with as well, and same story. And so I think more the symptom is if your team is struggling, either A, get them some better training, or B, yeah, maybe it is time to look at another option. And I would question, though, because I know Sam and Jennifer will, pretty sure they'll agree with me, even though we don't talk that much. There's a lot of apps that just don't need a store. if you're building like a CRUD app that interacts with an API a lot, I don't know that you need a store. So I don't know. I'll turn it over to Sam and Jennifer on see if they agree or not. Maybe they'll be like, no, wrong. And by the way, Dan, it's green. But anyway.
I guess it depends on how bad your API sucks and what you need to show to the user in the meantime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ngrx is really more for really large, complicated applications. So I think a lot of times you can get away with just services and observable store and things like that.
Yes. For starting, it certainly makes sense to, if you're not sure, like let's say you don't know, like you're like, I don't know. I've never done any either. I've never tried any of the things that Dan just said. Maybe start with one of the simpler options and work your way up, right? Just because I think it's a good way to kind of peel back. All right. The questions keep flipping around. So I'm going to go to, I think this one is for, well, it might be for Jennifer or Sam. In regards to reactive forms in an ngrx app, what is a common best practice for placing it in the store and updating based on their user state? Maybe it's actually for Dan. I don't know.
What is it like?
What's the best practice for
Values of
The form, like the form values?
Like-
let's say form values. It's a bit nebulous. I don't know.
So is this like if you have like a multi-step wizard and you're trying to like save the values of the form as a user goes in case they like accidentally refresh? I feel like I need more context here.
Yeah, I don't. It's a big question. I'm gonna move on.
My gut would be that if it's just the local, like just the form answers for one page that doesn't have to move around in the application, that
Like,
you wouldn't really need to put that in the store. But
yeah, like if no one else in the app cares about this piece, maybe don't use the store, right?
You wouldn't crowd out the store with that.
That's a good point. All right, Sam. Good examples for unit testing non-dispatching effects.
So there's an example in the docs.
Okay.
I'll just paste in the chat really quick.
Okay.
That's actually like a subject in the docs. And then the big platform example should have some examples in there of testing non-dispatching effects.
Okay, so you're going to paste that in the chat from the doc?
Yeah, I just pasted it over there.
Thanks, man. All right, next question's also for you. Sam, is it okay for I think you talked about this, but is it okay for an effect to dispatch multiple actions? What's the best way to handle this?
Yeah, so that's like a code smell in ngrx. If you find yourself feeling like you need to dispatch multiple actions, then you've got to break that apart into multiple, usually two effects or two actions or something like that. There's usually something that you're taking for granted as a part of that equation that's actually another side effect.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Sam. All right, Jennifer. Of the three options you outlined for gaining access to the control container, do you have a preference for the three? And are there any caveats?
No,
are there any caveats when you're deciding between the three?
So they're all very situational. So I think like the easiest one is if you know you have a bunch of nested components and they just have form controls in them that you want to use the form control name directive. I think it makes the most sense to, in the parent component where the form group is instantiated, to use the provider array and provide control container there to make it accessible to all the children. If you ever need programmatic access, like if you need to call like your form control .valid, or if you want to subscribe to value changes on it or something like that, then in the component that you have that form control in the template, you're going to need to inject the control container in the constructor to be able to do what you want. And then if you, for some reason, want to limit and you don't need programmatic access, you just need to be able to, for that form control name binding, to be able to look up that string from the form control or form group directive, then view providers on the view providers array on that child component that you care about is the way to. That's clear-ish.
Yeah,
I
no.
try to make it clear in my slides if you go through them slowly.
No, great. Thank you. All right, Sam. It has been said by many that your font is awesome and meaty. What font are you using?
So it's called Cooper Hewitt. I'll post a link. It's free, but it's called Cooper Hewitt. I just pasted a link to a site called TypeWolf. That's one of my favorite font sites.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Dan. Have you tried Blazor?
I have. That's very different topic, but yeah, I have. WebAssembly's cool stuff. I like it.
What do you think about it? You think it's do you think that non-JavaScript, TypeScript front ends are where we're going, or what are your thoughts?
I don't. I hope we don't see a day where JavaScript or any of these TypeScript ever is like it's a question that is ever going away. I don't think we'll ever see that. But no, I think it's a big deal because you have all the, for Java, Python, C#, language, even C++, the ability to write in your kind of native language for especially those that are doing a lot of server-side code. Because we all know it's a big jump to go from server-side to, front end, and vice versa. It's just different things you have to learn and know architecture-wise, and there's a lot to it. So I am pretty impressed with it overall. The WebAssembly part, they have two options with Blazor. I won't go into it all, but they kind of have a server-side option, which is more WebSockets, and then they have a front-end option, which is WebAssembly. But
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think there is definitely going to be a big move to that, but I don't see a lot of the front-end developers moving to that, not unless they know some of these languages well.
Yeah. Okay, Sam. This is a long question. Feel free to point him at our blog or something. How do you handle auth expiration and refresh tokens using ngrx and HTTP calls?
Yeah, so I briefly alluded to that earlier, but the idea is you don't use refresh tokens with a single page app. You would use typically an identity provider will have like a check session call or something. So when the app loads, it'll call out to the auth server and see if the user has an active session. If so, it'll send back a token. If not, it'll direct the user to log in. So you just do that when the app loads.
Okay, cool. If someone has more questions like about that, do you have a resource you'd send them to?
Yeah, I mean, so one good place to ask these kinds of questions is the Auth0 community forum. I can put a link in the chat there, and we have a bunch of other resources like series on identity topics and stuff like that if people are interested in any of that.
Okay, so Dan, there's this thing that happens where enough of the community ask for something and you basically have to do it.
I think I know what's coming because a certain individual might have texted me, but go ahead.
My beard has disappeared as a result of this type of mass community bullying. Anyway, you're being requested.
I didn't even recognize you, dude. Yeah. I saw your tweet. I got to go off on that real quick because it'd be like Sam if you shaved your beard off. I don't even know if I'd recognize you on the street.
Just walk past him.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'd just be like,
I wouldn't recognize myself.
Yeah. You're being asked to play something on the keyboard behind you.
Oh yeah, sure. It's not on, so I can totally do that. Yeah, you want me to?
Oh, it's beautiful.
There you go. What do you think?
Beautiful. Yeah, spit some fire into the mic too, though. Sing with it.
Should I beatbox with it?
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, I asked. That's what you got. I asked, okay?
There you go.
No one can accuse me of not asking the hot questions, okay? All right, Dan.
I know one that was coming was Dan. Do you miss John Papa? He misses you.
Yeah, no, I saw it.
Because we did that workshop. And no, not really. I don't miss him at all.
Yeah,
He's, that guy.
You spent 3 days in a row with that guy this week. Yeah. All right. Okay, Dan, would you suggest Observable Store instead of other libraries for small to medium-sized Angular apps?
I would suggest evaluating the options. Yeah, it works really well for us. We have a very large app. If I showed you the state on this, let's just say it would kind of make your head spin, because it's one of those the user can edit anything at any time, and it gets pretty intense. And we're using it there, and it works great. But again, I don't think there's a right answer there. I think you need to educate yourself on the different options.
It's tough though, because state management itself has a huge barrier to entry, right? And RX and Redux have their barrier to entry as well. And so when you don't know any of the 5 or 6 options that are pretty predominant, it's intimidating. So I think the question is, would you recommend it as one of the solutions to at least investigate for a small to medium-sized app?
Yeah. So I always say, and John, I know, agree here, because we both see eye to eye on this for sure, is, start with services. I mean, their services are great. And even if you need to store data, start with services, because they work really well for that, the singleton. Then move up to maybe observable services, where now you're actually officially sending out notifications with subjects and things. Then from there, I think Observable Store would be a good one to at least prototype again. And then you can go on from there, because there's less moving parts with the Observable Store. So it's going to be a lot easier to learn, but it's still pretty dang powerful. But if you want that, the thing I love about ngrx is, once the team has bought into it and understands it, everybody gets the pattern. And so if I look at Sam's code or Jennifer's code, we all should be the same. And so that part's pretty nice for maintenance, but that assumes we all know it.
Right. Okay. Well, one last question. A lot of people want to see your slides, get a little bit more deets. Can the 3 of you tweet out your slides and then also jump back in the chat and share links?
Will do.
Okay.
You want us to reshare if we shared already?
Nah. You're good. Just go follow the 3 peeps. They're awesome talks. They're going out on their Twitter's feeds, so go follow them. All right. Thanks to the 3 of you. That was a lot of hard work getting your talks ready. This is just crazy stressful time, so thanks for sticking with us and doing those talks.
Thanks,
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya.